Hello and welcome to another episode of Warped After Dark, the completely unnecessary Star Trek podcast where we provide unasked for audio commentaries to Star Trek episodes. My name is Matt.
I'm Shawn.
I'm Jake.
But if you were going to maroon 5 people on any planet, I could pick 5 people off the top of my head and have a much better Super Bowl halftime show.
Oh, who would you pick, Philippe?
I would pick Maroon 5. Anyway, Philippe.
Are there 5 of them?
And special guest star.
Aaron.
Are there 5 people in Maroon 5?
I would hope
Nobody
so.
knows.
You know how like Ben Folds 5 was 3 dudes?
Right.
Like, I don't like that.
I don't get it.
I don't like it when you make a name and then
That's
like,
why he had to continue as a
ironically-
solo act. 'Cause he's
Ironically, you don't have 5 people in the name.
He didn't like who he was when he named that
I know.
band.
Why couldn't it be Than Thinks 3, or something else? Come up with something.
And we are watching Season 2, Episode 18 of the original series of Star Trek. It's called The Immunity Syndrome. How much time is on the clock today, Shawn?
We got 50 minutes and 28 seconds.
So please get yourself a beverage, and we will start the episode in 3, 2, 1. Press play, Shawn.
There also weren't 65 people in Eiffel 65, just so you guys know.
Well, that's okay, though. That doesn't bother me.
How
too
many-
much.
What about the Jackson 5?
Eiffel 65 was blue. Blue, ba-da-dee-da, ba-ba-da-dee-da. Right?
Yeah.
Bones is wearing blue.
His smock is shiny today.
Yeah.
Well, he's got the
He's got the short sleever on today.
That's his
Speaking of
doctor
blue,
smock.
who's looking at through some blue stuff?
There
That's
he is. He's watching porn again.
he's got.
I know.
He's working blue
And
today.
his eyebrows look...
His eyebrows look
More-
particularly fake today.
So,
for some
Yeah.
reason.
am I the only one who watches the Orville? thing?
Oh, killer boner,
no.
man.
Oh,
You
no.
got one of those.
He's detected a disturbance in the force
Yes.
to mix the streams of my pop culture. So-
He does have a very...
This totally was a force.
This
That's
is an
exactly
It's
Alderaan
exactly
moment.
what it has.
Yeah.
He felt,
exactly what it is.
he
Yeah.
senses the death of
Yeah.
400 Vulcans.
On Starbase 6. By the way, there weren't 6 of them. I don't know. That's just the thread.
Yeah, George Lucas, take note.
Yeah.
Obviously he did.
yeah. He must have seen this episode and been like,
I'm going to crib that exactly.
oh, we have a visitors at the door.
I think it's a python.
I've only seen
Hey, just a second.
I've only seen 3 episodes of the Orville. To answer your question.
They had an episode about porn addiction
Oh.
the other day. I find that show very interesting because whenever they do stories about super relationshipy stuff,
Yeah.
it always involves the male couple
Oh, okay.
on the ship.
He's kind of the Worf-like character. Is that-
Well, yeah, the Bortus. The planet is all male, so it's not like it's clearly they only have male relationships in his
Right.
species, but they anytime they do it's him and his husband who have sort of the relationship issues.
Oh yeah, I just remember from the second episode that he lays an egg or something.
Yes, well, that's the transgender one.
Yeah.
and
So
the baby is a girl.
yeah. So the way I remembered it, I thought they were all female because he laid an egg, but no, they're all male.
They're all males.
and so they have to have an argument about whether or not it's
Well,
okay.
I just realized you're talking about that horrible Orville show.
You say that, and
I do say
you're wrong to say it's horrible. You have not watched it.
True.
You can't have an opinion about it.
There's where
I
we
like
disagree.
that you came with it, though. You're like that horrible.
Oh wait, are we doing this? Oh wait, let me.
Oh, we got the
I forgot
opening credits.
Forgot the intro was coming. I thought it
You were
was
talking
already
about a
happened.
different TV show.
I gave your transition into the opening credits a 6.7, Sean.
Oh boy.
Damn.
So-
We're watching season 2, episode 18, The Immunity Syndrome. Original air date January 19th, 1968.
Uh-huh.
Loading,
Buffering.
buffering.
Basically,
Your
they're
internet sucks around here, dude.
Oh sure, blame the internet.
We do.
Are we sharing a mic?
Well, anyway, your mic's in my lap. Dude. Can you please remove
in
it from my
there.
crotch?
Yeah, get in there.
I think I'll just do my
just
witty,
lay down. Just
my-
lay down and go where the mic is.
my witty open mic test material.
Well,
down there in
my
your
phone's
crotch.
not telling me it. There's something about a big energized cloud that attacks this ship. How about that?
They are.
Oh,
yeah.
hey, how original for this
What
show.
would you guess the? Did you watch the opening of this episode, Aaron?
Correct.
What would you guess the rating on IMDb is?
Knowing the irrational love for energized clouds that the fan base has.
7.2.
Anybody else?
I would say 6.8.
I'll say 7.3.
What was the highest bid?
7.3.
I'm gonna go 7.4.
7.6.
Oh, that's what I guessed last time.
Jeez.
I think is high, personally. Jake, you seem to have a different opinion about this episode.
I thought it was better than their goofy gangster episode on the last one we
I
did.
fell asleep, so
Yeah.
that should show you how much enjoyment I gained from this episode.
Yeah, I just thought that they're
Well, you've
sort of-
killed so many Vulcans in your life. 400 doesn't even
Register.
Yeah,
I just
doesn't even give a tingle to the
Yeah.
jingle.
Yeah, and Kirk kind of has a sort of like a challenge. He's got a choice to make.
He has a
about-
moral dilemma.
a dilemma about whether to send Bones
Kirk
or
or Spock or Bones.
Or go
into
himself.
danger. He never considers sending himself.
No, he does.
Yeah, I guess he does. But
But they tell him he can't because he's the only one that is actually
I think
At
this
risk.
episode. I think this episode is good because of the Spock Bones relationship.
that is really good. And there's also
like that scene they just did. That is a good little moment with the two of them. Like he's accusing him of being heartless, and Spock
Yeah.
saying, "I'm the one who just had 400 of my people die. Maybe you're the heartless one." You know, it's like there's some good like character stuff with
yeah.
Spock and
no,
Bones
there's
in
the
this
moment
episode.
where he says like "good luck," but he won't say it to his face. He
Right.
waits till he leaves, and
Right.
that'll happen.
Because McCoy is so racist, he can't even say, "I hope you survive."
get off my porn
this
station.
death mission.
Can we go back and talk about why they were insisting that he go in the sick bay when he got the bad news?
Because he had a turn when he sensed his comrades dying.
Had a turn.
He had sorry, I've been watching a lot of Downton lately. He just sort of has a sort of
He fainted.
He's
he
almost
gets
faint.
he gets
I
faint.
thought that's
He
fine. I
shit
thought
his
that's what you
pants,
meant,
is
but I didn't know if
what-
that was a Star Trek thing too.
No.
That
Yes.
Vulcans have turns.
Well, when
Like, what else have I
no,
overlooked?
he's just like overwrought emotionally. When
Okay, I didn't know if there was more.
does he
to
have
it
a
than
French
that.
manicure? I mean, his nails are amazing there. Sorry, I just noticed that detail.
No Sulu
Yeah.
in this one.
It's called a Vulcan
Shiny.
Yeah,
manicure.
no Sulu. No Sulu in the last one either.
Finally, we found Space's butthole.
It's an energized cloud. you
Perhaps
guys.
an
guys.
energized
The
cloud. You mean like the one we saw in Rajalon 6? No, not like that one. You mean the one we saw in Gripex
one that-
23?
the one that-
No,
the
it's
one that-
different.
No,
This
that
one just has like a
Yeah.
silhouette.
This one's just a hot, sexy silhouette of an energized cloud.
Oh, we get to the energized cloud later.
Oh yeah, you're gonna see it.
This is not the energized
This
cloud.
is the outside.
This is the hole to get to the energized
Yeah, that's what
cloud.
I mean. Dude, I know what you're talking about. Don't.
Jeez,
I-
steps.
I love it when he like rubs his chin like that. Like that's Kirk's thinking face.
His
one
bloat
finger.
factor is pretty high in this episode.
What? Maybe.
He pooches quite a bit.
Over the course of the episode.
That's what I remember.
I wonder what makes him pooch out.
What's his.
What are his food sensitivities?
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's a carb thing.
Yeah, I bet it's donuts. Doesn't it
The
seem like it could be
glutens.
donuts?
It could be the glutens. Uh oh, what's going on?
High pitched tone.
Oh yeah, when they send
Dog whistles.
they send the probe in and they get some sort of feedback.
Terrible feedback.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't
Terrible
think-
feedback.
and I don't
The
think it was
customer
on-
service card was very negative.
He had just installed this killer sound system, too, which is so terrible. I was so disappointing.
They complained that the veal was cold. It was terrible feedback.
And the sound really did annoy me as I listened to this. So I guess
They-
kudos to the sound guy.
Look at those
design.
clearly painted on images on the wall that's supposed to be the monitor.
yeah.
That's a bad angle. 'cause
It's
you
good
can
in-
see the light reflecting off.
like
That's
some
the
Bob
good
Ross.
information to have when you're traveling through interstellar space, is the picture of that.
that line.
Yeah,
that was what, maybe a comet.
Yeah. I think there's a kitten hanging on it saying, hang in there.
He's a DJing a pizza.
But you have to cross your eyes to see it.
Everyone's overcome. Everyone's having turns.
Yeah.
Well, the high pitched tone effed everybody up.
Maybe we shouldn't go.
Except Kirk.
I had a turn after
Who
the
seems
last
fine,
episode.
as
I know.
He recovers quickly.
You were sharp.
He rolled there. See, he's pooching pretty good there.
Maybe a little bit.
Man.
He's got some dusty dugs. His boobs hang low.
Sean is usually pretty
You said
forgiving for the
giant
male
nipples,
bodies,
yeah.
but this
I don't like the
Yeah.
dusty duds
doing
has
a lot.
become a recurring thing that you say.
I think we should.
I think we should put him on a shirt.
I think we should sell shirts that are
you
Dusty
know.
Dugs.
I did look at the Pod Swag webpage the other day to see about how to get merch.
Yeah. I want my nipples to be able to like high five my navel. That's how close they should be.
I'm telling you, we need that pinstripe shirt that it's just box. It's so small that it just looks like lines.
Yeah, that would be sexy.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, we'll do it. Nobody can stop us.
nor would they want to, really.
No one will even know. No one will even know we did it.
Other than the 5 people in this room, no one would actually ever own that.
They don't need to because we'll probably just laze out.
How could they, how could they stop something
Wait.
they've never heard of?
Yeah.
Oh.
Poor
On the far
Laura.
on the far side of the stage, there's the screen that just has colored bars.
Yeah.
At the top.
Yeah.
I voted blue.
I think
Blue's
that's
winning.
I
Blue is
think, I
winning.
think that's Scotty watching the races.
Yeah,
I think
blah,
you're right.
blah.
It's like some race in
I didn't know,
Rigel
sir.
5 of
In
like
addition to his-
tauntaun racing going on.
In addition to his
Nice.
hatred of women and his
yeah, that
alcoholism,
was a
he's
weird
also
episode.
a gambler.
Blue Dabba coming
That
around the
was
last
the
corner, 2 legs ahead.
weirdest.
Yeah.
He's also got a gambling addiction.
I read that this is the last episode he shot with that tunic like shirt.
Oh, really? We don't see that one again?
Well, there's another episode that airs after it, but this was shot last.
Got it.
Good riddance.
I like that shirt.
Me too.
So we'll see it one more time, I think, and I
Wait,
don't remember
which
what episode.
Which shirt?
Kirk's shirt.
Kurt's the tunic.
He goes back
thing.
to wearing just regular gold Starfleet outfit after this. Is what what you're
Here we
Is
are
that a
about to enter
I call it a
enter
half kimono.
the negative zone.
Should he open it?
Just halfway.
Pass.
I'd like to see one nip.
Oh, there's the high pitched tone
There's
again.
that tone
It
again.
was like, here comes the plot of the story.
Don't take that tone with
Do
me.
you hear it in the episode?
Yes. No, it's just the words come across. It says high pitched tone.
Well, I could see where they would just
It's like a
have
dog.
It
Like, you can't hear a
indicate
dog
where they're
whistle.
It's not a
acting.
dog whistle.
Yeah, that they.
It
You
is
can
know
hear a
they would
dog whistle. It
subject
just
you-
not only
doesn't-
can you hear it, is very effective at being very annoying.
Oh wow!
They-
I'm glad I'm not hearing that.
Now
right
they're
now.
in a boundless
They have the
void,
woman that
you
plays
guys.
the nanny make the sound. It's pretty good.
It's just Fran Drescher going.
That is a high-pitched tone.
Yeah.
Alas, she wasn't. That she hadn't come into full voice yet.
I will say this for
Where's her
this
baby
episode.
voice?
There's a lot of Shatner acting in this.
Yeah.
A lot of, well, why? A lot of very
chewing.
Because
Yeah.
he's got a hell of a choice he's got to make.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is like everyone's really tired too
Yeah, because
because they were supposed to go on R&R when they ran into this. So
Yeah,
they've been
he's like ready for
Yeah, he
chill
looks
time.
tired.
yeah, that's
Everybody,
part of,
like, looks
that's part of the
tired.
thing is that they're all really exhausted because they were
They did a
supposed to
good
be.
job on the makeup. 'Cause
When
he's
they-
got some little under eye, like he looks
When-
He's
tired.
got some bags.
When they get the assignment, everybody looks at him like, "Oh God, are we really doing this? Are we really like having to do this shit?" Because I really want to go like,
Yeah, they do actually do that. They're
Yeah.
like, why the fuck are we doing this? We're
Yeah.
supposed to be on vacation.
and they
right now.
clearly know that somebody's like might be dead or in trouble, but they're still like, "It's not our job. We're on.
is, like,
I'm
passed
on
out."
break."
Hello, listeners. We hope you're enjoying this week's episode of Warped. Someone spilled beer on the mixer, so we're going to take a quick break. In the meantime, make sure you visit us at www.patreon.com/warped to find all of our episodes for free. We can also be heard on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and many other places where fine podcasts are heard. Now back to the show.
not needing the headphones at this point.
Mine-
I can't hear
mine-
anything.
mine's working again.
I can't hear anything.
The beer fell down.
Oh, now I'm good. Now I can hear it.
It's still got beer in it. That's probably not helping.
The Sapporo spilled onto our control deck.
We need to get paper towel.
No, we're fine. We're
Sapporo-related
good.
incident in the
Pretty
studio.
sure.
Accidents in the
We're
studio.
fine. It's a small puddle. It's a small puddle of Sapporo.
I like this
Okay,
episode,
well,
but the Sapporo spilling
we're
is
not
probably
gonna
the
do
most
anything about
exciting
it.
thing that's
We're
going to
just
happen
gonna
in
let
this
that go.
episode.
We're going to think about what to do and make a good plan and then execute later on.
Well, a bunch
Oh.
of liquid by the...
Small technical difficulty, but we're fine.
We're back. We're
More
back, guys.
importantly, my Sapporo spilled. It fell down.
Holy crap.
Priorities.
This was a simulation of that time Matt
I've got more.
Matt
We have
left the
more
room.
cans. It's okay.
We all were like, what do we do?
I know.
I thought we talked more than I remembered us talking when he was out of the room. When I listened to the episode.
I just listened to that episode.
Oh, we just
for-
shut the hell up. When you laughed, we just stopped
It's not as
talking.
bad as you remember.
Yeah, we talk more
It's
than...
not as bad, but
It's not as bad.
But it was that awkward silence where we're trying to like, hey,
No,
Hey,
it
do
did
you
not
guys?
feel like the normal podcast.
Well, I think it really just sort
We
of...
were like,
when you just got
hey,
up and
nice
left, it kind of
weather
just
we're having.
flipped us out. Like, I think we all...
Well, I
were
didn't
like,
all
want to say,
weirded
what
out.
the
everybody,
hell?
I have
Why
to
did
go-
Matt just walk out of the room? Like,
'Cause would it have been better if I'd
Yeah.
been like, I have to take a call, I'll be back in a minute? Like, I was trying to not interrupt. the
no, that
flow.
would have been good because it would give us, it's kind of hilarious to
We
talk
would've
about
just
you.
panicked in a different way.
We were concerned, whereas we could have like ganged up against you if you had told us what you're doing.
Oh,
because
sorry.
it's like Matt might be in real trouble. We're worried.
Yeah.
Whereas if we know you're okay,
If I was in real trouble, I would have said something.
I think for me, it was just like, Matt's not here. What are we talking about?
yeah.
yeah, no. There was a point where Aaron, you said like, "Look at us just watching the episode. Somebody say something." And I was like, "Okay, yeah."
Have
th-
any of you ever been caught masturbating?
See, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I would
right?
never bring that up,
I
but
thought
I'm
it was
glad
the
you
time-
did.
I thought it was time to drop something from out of my notes file.
Yeah, nice.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was a delicious non sequitur.
I mean,
You guys were just saying I'm the one who has to bring stuff up to talk about, so here it is.
the last time I masturbated was when you left the room abruptly. I mean,
They were not connected.
yeah. I was like, wow.
I like this.
I
I like
love
this
to
section
watch
of
him
the ship,
leave.
you guys.
engineering?
I hate to see
Yeah,
him go.
I like it when weren't there like people going up and down one
Yeah.
time?
Yep.
They're just,
Oh,
like,
sure.
Up and down.
This
up
looks like
and
a
down.
set for like some kind of future stomp where they'd be sliding down that thing and stomp, 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 push the buttons. Beep,
Not
beep,
to
beep,
change the
push button.
subject.
Yeah, I noticed everybody avoided the question.
Oh.
Well, no, I'm trying to think, actually, if I've ever been caught.
It's like the problem with Shawn is you'd have to like actually not want to be caught, right? If you actually deliberately do it, like
Screeny!
Hey, Screeny.
Whoa.
That person is not doing well.
Yeah.
No.
Her cell rate is low.
Yeah,
Blood's low. Look at it.
they were like kept telling him go down lower. They're like Screeny's like, are you sure? He's like down low.
He's like, this bitch ain't dead.
I can't go very much lower, you guys.
Yeah, he's like, come on, Screeny, go all the way down on brain anyway. Can you bring your brain down? Yeah, brain was really low, guys.
Couldn't do that. It would just be a lie.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
an actor, Screeny. You're an actor.
Yeah, but it's got to make it feel right in the moment.
Oh, yeah, he does look poofy right
He's
there.
pretty poochy, right?
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Right there he was.
Yeah.
I noticed it.
So have you ever been caught masturbating, Matt?
No, but the reason this came
Never,
up is
ever?
because, not that I can think of.
What about like just like a quick? You have to a quick put away, or just like a sudden like?
No.
And it was just whoa.
Not that I can think of.
Are you just a prepper? Or you just make sure it's all,
It's all locked down.
or you have
I'm a
multiple. You have,
doomsday prepper.
yeah, you have
I
multiple
go
layers
down into
of
my bunker.
Yeah, you have multiple layers of security. Like you have like a bunch of cats
You have a
with tin
panic
cans, like filling a room, so they have to step across it. And
When
there's
we were in high school, Jordan and I loved this routine that the comedian Billy Connolly used to do, where he said that if you're ever caught masturbating, what you should do is say, the first thing you should say when somebody walks in on you is, "Thank God you're here," because it throws the other person off for a second, and maybe they think they didn't see what they thought they saw, because nobody who was masturbating would say that. And
Nice.
that's it.
Clever.
He's like, it gives you just like 5 seconds to like come up with a cover story for what you were really doing.
no.
It's growing wildly out of control.
Yeah.
Philippe?
Okay. Well,
Have you ever been-
that didn't go as well as I thought it was
Have
going.
you ever
No,
been caught masturbating?
Have I ever been caught masturbating? Well, I mean, probably, but it hasn't impacted my.
Probably been,
That's what I'm trying
It
to...
didn't stop me.
It didn't stop me.
not in a way that led to a
I
conversation.
feel like it's a yeasy yes or
Yeah.
no. Like, wouldn't you would remember?
But see, I think
Well,
caught means like somebody
Like,
that would like the only way you can get caught is when you're like a teenager, right? Because after that, you're mostly
or before you're
Wow.
if you're living with a bunch of guys. in an
Oh, I
apartment
see.
or
Like a
something
roommates would catch you
Yeah.
or something.
Or you're out on the street.
Yeah, which is more
that.
like
Right. I wasn't talking
Out on
about
the street?
like.
if I'm out on the street, I'm with
Natty.
somebody. So you know,
I wasn't.
I'm not gonna
I
be
wasn't
solo.
imagining that you were masturbating. Like in movie theaters and stuff. I mean, I'm not imagining it. But
I'm imagining it right now.
I don't think I've ever been. Well, I'm sure I've had close calls for sure. Where it's like
sure.
my parents would leave, and I'd be like, "All right, I'm gonna prep myself and blah blah blah, and get on the
Light a
big
candle.
bed. Yep, keep myself right. Turn up the volume on this adult video.
bust
that
out
I-
the Jergens.
Yeah, exactly. Get out the good lotion and just get everything laid out, and then all of a sudden I hear
the garage
door. Yeah, exactly. I've had that.
No,
And it's like,
run!
yeah, pull out the tape, pull up the band, throw away the stuff. Yep. Put the Jergens back.
The garage door is a real warning sound
Yeah.
when you're a kid. You're
Yeah.
like, if you're
Yeah.
doing anything at all that you're not supposed to be doing, you hear the
Yeah.
garage door, you're like, oh shit.
I distinctly remember I think there was a close call where like somehow I didn't hear my parents come in and I was on the bed and I literally did like, I rolled over like really fast, like super fast. So I fell over to the side of the bed so I'd be on the other side. And when they came in and they dropped off their coats and they went out and I had to like GI crawl out of that room because I was in their room doing it.
Where was Jacob during all of this?
Just sitting there at the end of the bed watching. like he's supposed to.
Like always.
Just keep watching your cartoons, dude. Just keep watching those cartoons.
But just been lucky, I guess. You know?
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm thinking. Like,
Statistically, I must have because it's in the hundreds of thousands, probably.
The odds are
Yeah.
at some point.
he's got way past the Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours mark.
Yeah, exactly. There's an expertise. So no, all no's around.
I think I'm in the same boat as you. That I know of a few close calls, but I know I can think of one time where I was in my room and the lights were off, and my sister walked in, like just opened the door,
Yeah.
but I wasn't like you couldn't see anything because I was under the covers,
Yep.
and I was sort of able to just sort of stop. So
I mean, one of the many great things about masturbation is how quickly, at least for a guy anyway, you can quickly resume to like a fairly casual, like depending on how elaborate you get. I mean, it's pretty quick to go back to like, just scratching and
Scratching and sniffing.
scratching and sniffing. There's nothing, nothing,
Nothing untoward
nothing
here.
untoward, nothing out of character here. So I mean,
Our friend once told us that he masturbates 4 hours a day.
that's a lot of time a day.
And he was not joking. Like, he meant it.
Chafing.
Yeah.
well, there's the energized cloud.
That's cool.
Oh.
Do you think that's the way it looked originally?
It's
or
supposed
did
to
they
look like
touch
an
it up?
amoeba, right? It's supposed to look like a
Yeah.
one-celled amoeba.
But it hasn't.
I doubt it. It looks too clear.
Yeah, it's got a crispness to it that.
No, I think it really. I wasn't joking. I think that's true. I think it's supposed to look like an amoeba.
No, I'm just saying
right.
that looks.
I was asking if it was retouched in the
Okay.
Yeah.
with the revisions they did though.
I mean, Spock doesn't seem to care that he's masturbating on the bridge, looking at his blue porn. So I mean,
Well, they're an advanced society,
Yeah.
Philippe.
well, that's
The thing is that the Vulcan genitalia is in his thumb,
yeah.
so he can just sort of rub it there, and it's hard for people to know that he's
Wait,
masturbating.
that's why they do the neck pinching thing.
And that's it.
Oh, gross.
Yeah,
It's a
and-
sex thing, dude.
Yeah. And any
I thought we talked about this already. That's what he does to bones.
That's right.
and any ejaculate that comes out, it gets deposited in a special pouch at his belt line. Mm-hmm. It's very tidy.
Vulcans are really into necrophilia. They knock them out and then they mount them.
Yeah.
I don't know if that qualifies.
None of these things are true.
Yeah.
I'm taking them as fact, though. I'm getting confused over here.
I don't know if you count. Well, I guess if you're a necrophiliac, why don't you just kill them? Why go?
Well, then you can't do it again.
I know, but you're not really into necrophilia if you're not doing.
It's
corpse.
something else.
Yeah.
Philia.
Yeah, that's just a different philia altogether.
That's called the Bill Cosbophilia.
I was gonna say.
I know.
There is something. There's probably a word for it.
Yeah.
What's Latin for pudding?
Yeah. The cause.
Yeah.
The Bill Cosby.
Well, hey, maybe it's time for.
On that note,
Maybe it's time for Correction Corner.
Correction corner.
That
Take it away,
is an
Matt.
amoeba.
Look, he literally just said that.
Go Rams.
Yeah. Go Rams.
Super Bowl champions.
They just won the Super
Rams.
Bowl, everybody.
Yep.
And it's Correction Corner for episode number 44, The Deadly Years, which is the one where they all get old.
Yes. Crotchety Shatner.
That was an amazing episode in some ways.
We talked about the benefits and drawbacks of a onesie.
Right.
So we talked about how do you go to the bathroom in a onesie. So I looked at various onesie type. There's various sort of designs for onesies online.
I guess there would have to be.
Some of them have a zipper at the crotch level,
Okay.
so that you don't have to take the whole onesie off
You
in
just
order.
zip down and pull it out.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's
no.
for men only.
But that's for men only, right?
Oh yeah, it wouldn't be good for women, but I'm saying they do it. Onesies for men have a zipper
So
at the crotch area.
what is onesies for women? Do they have a straw?
Comes with a tube.
With the stadium pal.
It's got like a
funnel?
Some of
It's
them
got like a
have
funnel
some
and
of
a
them
tube.
have the old-fashioned like buttons at the back with a like
the
a bottom
button-
flap.
bottom
yeah.
flap.
That's old school.
That's
though.
old school, like you
No,
know.
the ones I wore, you just had to zip
Tom
that whole
Joad
thing
style.
off.
Like
Take it down as far as you
John
need to take it down.
Stein.
It's like a romper.
We talked about whether Donald Trump was the result of the movie Dave.
That's a theory I've had for a while.
Yeah.
So I did find an article online that somebody had written saying that Dave and movies like Dave contribute to the idea that the people who are the best politicians
Are not politicians.
are the ones who
Are the
do
least
not
prepared.
politicize,
Right.
Who are not professional politicians.
I know.
So there's a whole
Inexperienced.
subgenre. You know, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Sure.
Like, there's all kinds of movies where
That feed
the
them
the best politician is not a politician
Yeah.
at all and doesn't do anything
Yeah.
to seem politician-y.
Yeah.
And it made me think of, and they mentioned in this article that like sort of actively campaigning for public office was back in ye olde times was not, it was considered like,
Gauche or something.
yeah, classless. Like
Yeah.
you would never campaign to win a public office, which I realized there's a plot point about that in Hamilton.
Yes.
Like
Yeah, Aaron Burr
campaigns towards the end of Hamilton. Aaron Burr's like campaigning, and everyone else in the government all think he's super tacky because he's actively campaigning
I forgot about that
for his
part.
job. So anyway, that was about how non-politicians are better politicians than actual politicians.
I just think it's like a dangerous.
It's
kind of thing.
It's totally bogus. It's
Yeah.
garbage.
Yeah.
But there are certainly lots of pop culture.
But there's like that thing always gets reinforced. It's like all this folksy wisdom comes into play in
Sure.
Dave, and he's like, "How you couldn't run a business with your budget's balanced like this?" And then he comes in and throws some common sense, and the whole budget
Yeah.
gets fixed. And
Doesn't he bring Charles
Yeah,
Grodin
Charles
in
Grodin,
as
his
the accountant?
accounting buddy.
Yeah, and
He's
it's
like
all,
figure out, and so he sits down with like a adding machine and
Yes.
figures out
Yeah,
the government's
and he's
budget.
like-
Because he's got to
Exactly.
save $900 million from the budget to save a program.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and it's like, well, we're just. He's like, it's ridiculous. I love the movie Dave.
Yeah,
by the way.
I loved
It's
it
a
when it
charming
came out.
movie,
Yeah.
but it does have
Kevin Kline at his best.
It has dangerous messaging if you take it on its face for what it's actually saying.
I mean, I just think of it as like it's kind of like, what is that, the famous, the Prince and the Pauper kind of.
Prince of Tides.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what
it was just like the
talk about a masturbation-a-thon, right?
That's another one that Aquaman is
Boy,
like.
Barbara Streisand and Nick Nolte.
All I have
doesn't get any hotter than that.
All I have to say is save something for the end.
Times Philippe has jerked off to
Save-
Barbra Streisand
save-
And I've caught him.
Yeah, save something for the end because you are gonna want to like have a big.
Do not use up all of your Kleenex before the end.
Yeah, man, because that
You're gonna
is
need more.
It is a climax that will drain those balls. I'm just quoting from the poster.
Now I want to see this movie.
That's the pull quote.
Roger Ebert says, "Save some for the end."
This movie will drain your balls.
Streisand
Roger
will drain
Ebert.
your balls.
Oh, God.
I'd watch that.
No, I want to watch it. I've never seen The Prince of Tides. I'm going to watch it now.
You're in
Oh
for
my
a
God,
treat.
It is
amazing.
a real.
Get
It
some
is,
alone time. Get some
it is,
Jergens.
Will that
is.
make me cry?
To light a candle.
Will it make you cry? Yes.
It'll make you cry.
It is certainly an emotional. You might even go so far as to say emotionally manipulative movie.
Yeah.
Well, those are the ones I cry too easily.
Yeah, I know. It's right up your alley.
We
actually.
should watch it.
That going to be our bonus movie?
That could be our bonus. We could watch
Prince of Tides.
It's so good. Well, I hope you guys might
Did
want
you
to be
read the book? Did anybody read the book that it's based on? I did back in the
my
day.
Was it called Prince of Tides?
Yes.
Oh my God, was it?
It was a big bestseller. That's why they made it into a movie.
It's about like child abuse, isn't it?
Sort of. Nick Nolte's character is
Oh,
a
yeah.
survivor of child
Don't
abuse.
diminish it.
It's about so many things.
Oh,
Yeah.
could that eyebrow go up any higher?
It's about
Jesus.
life. It's
Yeah.
about love. It's about forgiveness.
Oh, is this where Bone says good luck after he leaves?
Yep.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
He won't say it to his face, but he secretly doesn't want him to die.
He waits till that door is closed because
Yeah.
those fucking Vulcans can read lips.
Oh, that's sweet.
They have good ears.
Besties.
They do. They actually have terrible hearing.
This is what I was
No.
also impressed about. Like, it was really. I was like, oh no, you can't put Spock in danger. He's so important.
See, I fell
He's the best
asleep
character
during
on
this
the
part, so
Yeah.
I missed it. I think that's
Yeah.
why.
How did they decide? I can't believe I'm asking. Never mind. I take it back. I was
What?
going to ask a plot question, and I realized why.
Yeah.
Kirk just decides to send Spock.
Yeah, he decides he's the most qualified.
We talked about whether or not we had ever seen Leonard Nimoy shirtless, because Deadly Years has a Kirk shirtless scene for no reason at all. He's just shirtless in his quarters at one point in the episode. So we were talking about whether or not we ever got to see Spock shirtless. Guess what, guys? Good news. 3 episodes from now,
Yes.
Patterns of Force
Let's
features
the Nazi one.
Features a scene where both Kirk and Spock are shirtless together in a prison cell, which I'm sure inspired thousands of fanfics over the years.
Let's keep
There's
going
some
tonight, you guys.
Fanfic form.
Let's
do
skip
we
ahead.
mention that this is episode 50?
Holy shit!
Whoa.
Warped. This is Warped episode 50, guys.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Unlike this amoeba.
Our golden anniversary.
Wow.
Congratulations, everybody.
Raise a glass,
Oh,
folks.
50
yeah.
episodes.
I'm drinking this amazing Manhattan mix that I got at Costco.
I'm drinking it too. It's really good.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's why this episode is twice as good as episode 25 and
Yeah.
half as good as episode 40.
Wait.
Peaks and troughs.
Peaks and
trying.
drops. Oh, there's a sinusoidal kind of.
So something to look forward to. Shirtless Nimoy in Patterns of Force.
Yeah.
3 weeks from today.
If you love Nazis and shirtless Nimoys,
There was some question about how fast they were supposed to age in that episode. Sean, you said you thought it was 30 years an hour.
Yeah.
So it's actually 30 years per day.
Ah.
Jake was right.
We talked about how Kirk seems to age slower than everybody else, and we talked about his natural 20ness. And Jake and Philippe, you guys sort of went back and forth about what stat or how you would determine his resistance to
Was it
something like
fortitude or
was it going to be
constitution?
fortitude? Was it going to be
willpower?
stamina? So But it seems that what you would want, based on, I mean, you guys are the experts on this, so I'm just going off what the website said. It seems like what you would want is a resistance spell. Mm-hmm. Does that sound plausible?
That would help you with the check
Yeah.
to resist.
So, yeah, it's basically like your saving throws are based on your stats, and then things can boost your result. So for like a resistance, like against anything like that's about sort of your physical well-being would be sort of your constitution. But if there was something that like to resist like somebody like hypnotizing you or something like that, or taking control of your mind, there's a willpower, usually willpower thing. It's like sort of in that, and that's kind of how they divide the realm. So you would take your constitution check and roll against that. And if you had a really high constitution, which Kirk obviously does, he's a specimen, an absolute unit. He would, he would have a huge plus to his roll. So
a positively barrel-like physique.
Yeah, exactly.
We talked about the tablet that the yeomen are always giving Kirk to sign. You know, the thing that looks like a magnadoodle.
Yeah.
So it's called a magnadoodle. Like, we weren't sure what those... We went back and forth on what those were called.
Okay.
But Philippe said magnadoodle in the episode, but it gets a little lost in the mix. Like, so I wasn't sure if everybody had heard it. But Philippe did say magnadoodle, and that is what it's called.
Actually, it's called a light bright.
Completely different technology.
Yeah.
A light bright.
Yeah. That wasn't until Stardate 26.
And Joey and Chandler had a magnadoodle on their door on Friends. And remember, it would say different things.
Yes, that's where they left notes for each other.
They would leave notes for each other on the door.
And I have just purchased at Costco the latest version of the magnadoodle, which is sitting on the floor there. And it's a thing you can draw on and then erase.
But that's not what they do. They have the thing where they pull up the sheet above.
But it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's magnetic, you know.
Yeah,
it's
but were those called magnadoodles too?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was sort of they might have been called something else, but it's because they were the sort of cheaper knockoffs of magnadoodles, I think. Like,
so there were...
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need further research on this one.
So when you do the corrections corner for this
Yes.
I've
episode,
done as much as I'm going to on this subject.
I want the answer as to what those things are called, because I know what you're talking about with the magnadoodle. That's different than what they have.
Oh my god!
This is
we could go
how
on.
correction corner
Because that one had
begets
you're talking about
correction.
the cellophane one, right?
Right, they had a piece of cellophane on top that you draw on, and then you
Do you know what
lift it
they're
up and
talking
it-
about? I think we're too young.
Basically.
I think we come in at magnadoodle
It's all magnetic flake based
and
technology.
etch a sketch. I put that in the same category.
Oh, let's see. What else do I got here? Paddington 2. Paddington's a real bear, not a stuffed bear.
Yes, you're the only one who thought he was a stuffed bear, Matt. So
Yeah, I know.
you're not
I was just
correcting-
confirming.
You're not correcting anybody but yourself.
No, I know. That's my point. I'm pointing out that you guys were right and I was wrong.
He's
that's
like
very
he's
adulty.
egalitarian. He like corrects all the
I correct regardless of source.
yeah.
Got
Let
it.
all come and be corrected.
Let all come and
Good
be
for you.
corrected.
Yeah.
Let-
correction
Good
corner.
job.
Corrected.
Good job.
You're so honorable.
You talked about how you liked going to the Motherlode the couple of times that we went to the
Yes,
Motherlode
yes,
when I was
did.
living in West Hollywood. And were you? I just couldn't remember the story. Were you the one who nobody hit on you when we had my
Yes.
birthday party?
I hate going to gay bars because I never get hit on.
Yeah,
It's very, very,
it's a blow to the
It
esteem.
is. I'm like, it hurts your feelings.
Sure.
And considering Sean's
Maybe you're just so manly that everybody looks at you and
Can't,
goes, "That guy's
I
straight."
can't imagine that's the case, but
Yeah.
I hope that's why. And it's not this I'm so grotesque that there's not a man that would want to have sex with me.
no. it couldn't it's not
I'm
that.
going to go against all of gaydom and say that I would hit on Sean. I'm just
Well, you are the best
If you were
man I've ever
if you were a
kissed.
gay man, Sean would be your type.
I think so because he's got like he's hanging
Well,
a lot
you
of
know I
meat from those
cry.
bones and he cries. He's sensitive.
A lot of meat.
He's very sensitive.
I hang a lot of meat on my bones, apparently.
Yeah, I like that.
The listening audience out there.
Jeez.
I'm just saying.
I'm just thing.
Philippe is
I
seen
think the
behind
mother
the
load have
kimono.
to get out of their comfort zone.
I remember one time going.
Sean, does the reverse apply? If you were gay, would Philippe be your type?
That's okay. You don't have to.
You don't have to reciprocate.
No, it's just,
He's a little dark for me.
Yeah. I know. I'm still trying to get Michael Jackson's chamber
No,
on
he's
eBay.
got nice curves to him. I do like him beefy.
Yeah.
I do like what was great. The funniest thing when I went to the Motherlode, most of the time when I would go there with you, it was just like a sports bar.
Yeah.
They would just have sports on the TVs, and that's
Until
why
they turn it on to hardcore porn.
And
at
then
9
one
o'clock
day I
at
went
night.
in there one day, and it was all porn.
Yeah.
And it was guys licking each other's armpits was like the theme of the porn. And I was like, is that a thing?
It's like an
Is
appetizer.
that a thing in gay?
It's some people are into armpits. It's not my thing.
I'm not saying. I
necessarily,
just that. I mean, I
Yes.
didn't figure it was like a mainstream thing. I just thought it was. I was like, really? Is that a thing?
it is.
Well, there you go.
Everything is a thing.
The more you know. There's a star
Somebody.
just went
Anything
by.
you can think of, it's a thing.
Dun, dun,
There's a
dun,
rule
dun.
32 for everything.
Boy, I have some material here on Nazis, but I'm hesitant to bring it up because it was a little controversial last time.
Wait,
we
does
had
the
this
Star Trek
conversation.
Enterprise have brake lights? I just realized that was going on there.
That's their engine. That's the
brake
glow of their engines, I think.
No, those nacelles are the engines. The
No,
big-
the impulse engines are the orange.
Oh,
things.
the orange ones. You're right. You're absolutely right. I forgot about Impulse.
Yeah.
But they were so square. Like a freaking Buick Century.
I mean, a Buick Century was like the best car you
Impulse
could
in
get.
reserve. It's like the whole
This-
thing.
As an owner of a Buick Century, I disagree with that statement. It was
In
never-
1967.
Wee.
Boy, that was some shabby CGI work. Look, everybody, they did it on a PS2.
They're penetrating the cell
This
wall.
reminds me of the time I got caught masturbating.
Yeah. Well, that is the sperms hitting the egg right there.
Oh my god, look at the lazy job he does, like
He's
acting,
just sort of
shaking, in a
rocking
chair.
in the chair. Everybody else is bouncing all over the place.
Yeah,
He doesn't-
Shatner, yeah, he's
It's a lava lamp over there.
some lazy acting in this.
Oh, did you not know Shatner is not affected by gravity the same way everybody else is? No, inertia.
Yeah.
That shirt has all his inertial dampeners built in.
So anyway, I think I'm going to skip the Nazi stuff.
Okay, good call.
It's always good to skip Nazis.
Well, yeah, I don't need to hear the words. I think you'd be a good Nazi.
Well, it
Sean,
wasn't-
again.
Yeah. Okay.
Are those impulse engines right there above?
Orange lights.
Jesus,
Was
they're
there
everywhere.
anything else you wanted to cover besides that?
No, that's it. That's the end of correction quarter.
Okay.
for this
Nice.
week.
Well, I'd say that was a good one.
I think we can just say Nazis equals bad.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think we're all in agreement on that. There's Aaron with the hot takes again,
Yeah. Controversial.
taking down the Nazis a peg.
Yeah.
Oh, now we're against Nazis.
Long story short, everybody would have made a good Nazi. That's the long story short of it.
The views expressed by Aaron do not represent the views of Warped Studios as a whole.
Yeah, her anti-Nazi stance is
Controversial.
We don't want to be so exclusive.
yeah. If Nazis want to start going on the Patreon
Just
site,
saying, you know.
Okay. Quit extending the corrections on Nazis.
Yeah, we've gone too
Yeah.
far.
Jake's gonna put pictures of my cats on the
in Nazi
on the
and
Twitter
SF
feed,
uniforms.
Yeah, it's awkward. They both have those Hitler
with like
mustaches.
Nazi.
I think the little animation you had me and Matt make, you should have the kittens
Doing
do
the
the
little
talking.
Sig Heil symbol in the background with the paw.
man.
Oh wow, that took a dark turn. But yes, I will put regular cat photos on.
I think you need to put like a disclaimer
They're
that we
super
actually
cute.
are against Nazis somewhere now. I didn't think we needed it before, but I think that just in case.
From now on every disclaimer that you put with this, and again,
Who would need that?
we're
Again.
not fans of Nazis.
Everybody knows that. It didn't need to be said.
Sometimes our sarcasm doesn't come across in all forms of media. I think, Matt. It just helps to be extra clear.
Well, fine.
Yeah.
It's because occasionally we say positive things about Nazis, I think. And
Nobody has said anything positive about Nazis.
Okay,
Not one
I just wanted to
person.
make sure because I don't know. I don't listen to this, so you know.
Not even while it's happening.
Okay, well, while it's happening, I do sometimes. There's moments.
Be careful, or Gene Roddenberry's going to be called.
No, Gene Roddenberry. He's on a different astral plane right now.
See, my heart was going out to Spock right now. He's out there in the shuttlecraft all alone.
Yeah, he's all by himself.
You know,
And he's recording what he's leaving behind to everybody.
Like he's gonna die, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
This
he-
is a suicide mission.
At this point in time, he pretty much feels he's going to die. That there's no way for him to survive this.
and now Kirk is kind of doing the same thing. Like, we're probably not going to make it out of here.
So he's giving commendations to all of his senior staff.
But nobody's gonna read it.
Including the helmsman who is just in this episode.
Oh, good.
Kyle. They throw it.
Chekhov, Uhura, and Kyle.
Oh, yeah, Kyle. Since we have to treat Irish people fairly, they're trying to make up for past
wrongs.
Yeah.
Kyle is a very Irish name.
He has an accent. When he has
he
a speaking
does.
line and he has an accent.
No, he does. He's meant to be.
Something.
Of course, it's like
He's
this is.
Australian.
Oh, is it?
Is he Australian?
I think I think so. I think he's.
That
supposed to be
sounds very
Australian.
like an Australian name.
No, it could be.
Mr. Kyle. Oh, that's his last name.
Yeah.
His first name.
His name is also Kyle.
Yeah. Kyle.
It's Kyle.
His name is Kyle. Kyle.
Yeah.
How many Kyles squared is that?
His middle name is
Kyle.
Hitler.
He would have made a good Nazi.
Kyle Hitler.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
Did you guys read Stephen King when you were younger? Did you guys anybody go through a Stephen?
Now
King
I'd be
phase?
embarrassed just because of the way you phrase that. I'd be afraid.
I did. in
but
college.
Yeah,
I did in college.
Yeah,
I read them now.
Well, the reason I mention this is because they're making a new Pet Sematary movie, right? I saw the trailer for the new Pet Sematary movie, and I remembered reading that book in like high school, but hadn't read it since.
Yeah.
So, but the trailer made me think, oh, that looks good. I should go back and I should read that book again. So I did. I read it again just a couple weeks ago. It's not great.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
my take on Stephen King is that he tells really great, cool stories, but he is a terrible writer.
Yeah.
Like, his prose is not
No, it's very.
not good.
No.
And I think when you're 15 and you're obsessed with Stephen King as I was and
because
Jordan
it's-
was, it's because
the
it's
stories
just
are
fucking
cool.
the stories are cool.
Yeah.
So you're just burning through them for plot, and you're not sitting there going, "Boy, that is some terrible dialogue."
Yeah,
Like,
that
no
is some-
human being in the world has ever talked like that.
Yes. Nothing exemplifies that. Well, there's. I forget what it's called. Like the dragon in the eyes of the
Eyes of the Dragon.
Ah,
That's
got it.
my favorite Stephen King book of all of them.
So it's so terrible if you actually read it as like an older, like a person who's like looking at the actual like
how
the
it's written.
Yeah,
mechanics
I
of
read
it.
it in like a few hours. I devoured it. So
Yeah.
first of all, that's the caveat I will say is that I love all Stephen King
too.
stories.
Me
Like I
too.
devour them. But when I actually look at, I mean, The Stand is. The writing in The Stand is so like the dialogue is so terrible when you actually like read it or have it read or see it acted out. Like it's terrible, but the story is so grand and like monumental
Yeah,
and
it's
mysterious,
amazing.
and it's a page turner like crazy, man.
Yeah.
I love his stories.
Me too. And I completely agree 100% with everything you just said. And I think Eyes of the Dragon would make an amazing movie. And I'm kind of amazed that nobody's ever tried
I've never
it.
read that one. What
It's
is-
like fantasy. It's like Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
It's like set in a fantasy land. And it's about, a boy who's supposed to be the king and an evil wizard.
Yeah.
And, it's a great story.
Yeah.
And it would make a terrific like fantasy movie. And it kind of blows me away that no one's ever done it.
Well, part of it is
But
like
Pet Sematary has these moments where the old guy, the neighbor across the street who warns him about sometimes dead is better. That guy,
yeah.
He has these long monologues where he'll talk about like the history of the Pet Sematary or whatever, and he says things like, Well, that reminds me, old Bill Johnson back in 1983 it was, and I remember it well because it was the hardest winter we had up here since 1962, and like no human being monologues the way people monologue in Stephen King stories, and it really stuck out as badly written to me this time.
If you read a lot of Stephen King, you see a lot of the same...
He uses the same patterns over and over and over again.
And the same kinds of characters over and over. And I guess maybe that's just part of life, is characters are... Sure. People are certain ways, but he uses very similar, like, oh, here's an old wise, you know, I mean, to use it, like, literally Negro kind of...
Sure, like in The Shining.
I mean, he uses, like, this person has all this wisdom, and, you know what I mean? But he uses the same tropes over and over, and it's very, like... But I still love I know. I mean, I actually really loved it when I first read it.
Yeah, me too.
And I really, The Stand, and...
Yeah. All of those big blockbustery ones from the 80s are all great.
And I remember
there's that thing we were just talking about.
Yeah. Okay, watch this. So he said something about I'm looking forward to getting some R&R, and watch the way it look. It's her.
He's like, I'm gonna fuck that girl.
Yeah, that's right.
They're all like, yes, you
guys
are.
know what I'm talking about? Yes.
Yep.
I'm ready for some relaxation.
Scotty's like, I'm gonna try and murder her.
After you're done with her, Captain, can I murder her?
You do you, Scotty. You do you.
You do you. But anyway, so have you read any? What's the most recent Stephen King book you've read? Have you read any of the new one?
No, I read some of his short stories that were in some collection, and I cannot remember anything.
I read the time travel one about John Kennedy,
63.
Yeah, and I think that's the most recent one I've read.
I hear
that's
the
one
was really
that's got
good.
The Hulu
I hear
show
that's one of his best written stories.
It's a really good one. It's kind of a throwback to the sort of 80s style.
I read his short stories, the one with Shawshank Redemption in it, and those were actually better written, I think.
That's the first Stephen King book I ever read, was The Four Seasons.
I think that one is actually those are some of his better, like, just his better writing. And I think one thing about Stephen King is, like, he's written about writing, and he talks about how he forces himself to write, you know, even through...
I read that book. I read his, like,
on writing.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty...
I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, I think that was one of the more interesting things he's written too. And I really admire Stephen King in general. Like, I don't necessarily think he's not a very naturalistic dialogue writer, and he has pretty hacky kind of like
They're
characters.
great books to read on long plane trips.
Yeah, it's simple.
I think the perfect age to read Stephen King is 15.
Yeah.
And you just love everything about it because you're not even thinking about how it's written.
Yeah, the characters are just relatable, and they're very, like, I like Stephen King. I mean, so that kind of makes me think about, like, what books kind of got you into reading if you're a reader, and do you remember, like, what book that kind of, like, sealed the deal for you and saying, like, I fucking love reading now? Because I didn't love reading until I was, like, in high school. Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't like...
No, I was a huge reader even as a little kid.
I kind of read a little bit when I was like 8 and 9, but then I kind of stopped because I got into video games, and then I kind of put it down, and then...
Dragonlance.
Yeah, Dragonlance
That's what did it for me.
Yeah, Dragonlance did it for me, too.
Mine was Ender's Game.
Oh, yeah.
I read Ender's Game at a very impressionable age, where, like...
12?
Way younger than that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like, I'm an over-intelligent loner weirdo too. Like, Ender's Game is one of those books that if you read it, you can really strongly identify with the main character.
Right.
Like, so I was way into that book. I read that book. I probably read that book.
I have to ask.
I've probably read that book more times than I've read any other book.
Yeah.
Because I read it so many times as a kid, just over and over again.
I can rarely read a book more than once because I feel like I would just check it out of the library every time we would go to the library, I would just check out Ender's Game again. Yeah.
My mom was like, you've checked this book out 12 times. I'm like, yeah.
Did you read I assume you read all of them.
I have not read all of them because there are a lot of them, but I read several of them, and those are good too. They're not quite as good as Ender's Game because Ender's Game is more of a sort of self-contained story.
Yeah.
And the sequels kind of go off in all kinds of weird directions.
Direction. Well, there's really, like, the first 4 are the Ender story.
The Ender,
right?
those are the good ones.
Yeah.
Like after that, when he goes into like,
Ender's Shadow is
Bean's
kind of,
history and all that stuff.
I honestly thought the Beans story, Ender's Shadow, ruined it for me because it made it not about Ender
It's right.
being. It made it like, oh,
It was actually Bean manipulating Vince all along behind the scenes.
and he's like a toddler, and
Right.
he's like controlling street gangs because he's so smart. I
Yeah.
was like,
that's that's where I stopped too.
yeah. Then I was like, well, you just ruined.
I read
Ender's
that
Game.
one and I was like, nah, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out.
Also, it became more known to me, although I always knew he was a Mormon, but it became more. I became more aware of like
Orson Scott.
his problematic personal, beliefs.
Views, yeah.
So that kind of turned me off to the whole thing too. I still have a lot of affection for Ender's Game.
Yeah,
but
it's one of my favorite books.
but it's problematic. It's one of those books that it's problematic to be a fan of because he's such a bad person.
Yeah, I loved Ender's Game, and I actually liked some of the later books because they're so different. And it's like anthropological.
Speaker of the Dead is a great book.
Yeah,
Like,
Speaker
that's
of the
a great
Dead is
story.
like, fantastic. Anyway, Sean, any books that got you?
I'm not much of a reader.
that's why we love you.
Yeah,
I
just good looking.
loved Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
yeah,
good.
that was
That's
one of
that's my book. That is my Bible.
Yep.
Always will be. Did you? I mean, you probably hear. I've read this recently. That the whole concept of 42, why that's the answer
Yeah.
to life, the universe, and everything.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
You read this recently, Matt?
No, I'm waiting.
Oh.
I mean, go on.
Somebody said that 42, it was in binary. If you write it out in binary, in code, then it actually comes back into, I believe, this can be a corrections corner. You can look it up.
I will.
It means be you. So the whole point was that
You be yourself.
the finding
Purpose
life, the
of the
purpose of life, the universe, and everything is be you.
There you
Huh.
go.
It's something like that. Like there's actually like the reason why it's 42, and it has to do with binary and computer science coding.
Wow. What a profound thing to think about as we leave you
Yeah,
on the 50th episode of
I
Warp.
can't think of anything else.
Well, I just think it's like I mean that
This is a real
Hey, look, it's the only book I've really read. So
That's
give me,
great.
you
No,
know,
it's amazing,
I
yeah.
can't talk about literature like you guys do. I'm sorry.
So wait,
I don't know if you would call-
your answer for both of you was Dragonlance?
I got into Dragonlance at a very, and I think at
I mean,
just
they were. I read
You read
whatever
my
was
co-
around.
yeah, and that was my copies of Dragonlance.
Yeah, and then like I read copies of all the Ender Saga, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
the thing I read on my own. I mean, I read a lot of things, but that I really dived into on my own was Star Wars novellas and novels.
I read a lot of Star Trek books.
I read a lot. I read the what was his name?
Zahn
The Zahn
trilogy.
Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah,
I read those.
I read
those were good.
I read some Stephen King. I read the different seasons. I read Gerald's Game, Dolores Claiborne.
Yep.
I read those. 'Cause I liked the what were those? The Eclipse series.
Yeah, they were all sort of connected to each other.
And if you guys ever read Dean Koontz, the
The poor man's Stephen King.
I gotta ask you. Okay, The Stairway. Who's the guy? What's his name?
James Patterson.
And he's an author.
Yes.
He writes kids' books.
He writes,
No, not that Patterson.
That's not that
No,
James Patterson.
No,
Okay.
No,
My kid
That-
reads a bunch of James Patterson books.
no. My
and
kid-
I'm going. Is that the James Patterson that's in the
I might have the first name wrong. It's Patterson, but he only wrote like some books like 20 years ago. Like
Okay,
they were like
all right.
Vietnam stories and stuff like that. Not James Patterson, who has like a franchise of ghostwriters.
Yeah,
that-
he doesn't write his own
Yeah.
books
Well,
anyway.
whatever.
Yeah.
I just know that my kid reads a bunch of books that have James Patterson as
Oh
an
yeah,
author.
he's got a franchise of books that like Middle School and Boring Bart. and-
okay, all
yeah,
right.
My kids
Well,
read those.
I thought you had said the guy's name was James Patterson. And
It might
so,
be like
I-
something else, Peterson or Patterson. I forget what it is, but it's not that guy.
all right.
Anyway, I mean, yeah. So yeah, I think those are some good books to have around and start us on our pathway to reading, and now never reading.
Pathway to nerdery.
Yeah.
Like,
I read a lot of Philip Dick.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah.
I love Philip K. Dick.
Yep.
Who doesn't love Dick? I mean, really.
I don't know. Let's find out.
I always thought of all.
Does Aaron? Do you love?
Have you ever read Ubik?
Philip K. Dick.
I have read Ubik way back when. I couldn't tell you anything about it.
I think that would
make
it. That's one of the few. I've read that several times. That's one of the few books I've actually read more than once.
I like the shorter ones that are less like abstract and weird. You know, that are more just like a story. Time Out of Joint is a good one.
What's
So
that?
famous. I mean, I don't know that I've read his stuff, but I feel like he's like in the top.
Time Out of Joint
Brass.
is basically like the Truman Show, sort of. Like, it's about a guy who thinks that he's living in like 1950s suburban America, and every day he fills out a puzzle that shows up in the newspaper every day, and that's how he makes his. He's famous in the world that he lives in for always winning the puzzle and winning, and there's a money prize that comes from winning the puzzle. So he's sort of Ken Jennings, you know, like he's famous for always winning. But then it turns out that it's all a constructed reality, and it's actually he's actually living in the future, and the puzzles that he solves every day
Are designed
are
for-
like he's like code breaking for a war against space aliens.
Hell
but
yeah.
he had like a nervous breakdown, so they built this reality for him so that he could continue to do his work, but not really know.
I'd like
that's
to be
what he was
accommodated
doing.
like that in my workplace.
Yeah.
That seems like
It's a
my
cool
kind of
story.
life. I would
really
sign
A little
up
bit
for
Matrix,
that.
you know, it's like sort
I
of
like
the
it.
Matrixy
Yeah.
kind of
How disappointing would it be to
Truman
know
Show-y.
that that's
What's that
going
book
on right
called?
now? Time Out of Joint.
And that's
I've heard of that.
Philip K. Dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
a
an
famous one,
early
isn't it?
It's an early one. Yeah, well, the phrase "time out of joint" is from Shakespeare, but
Yeah.
the book
Okay.
is named after the quote. Recommendation corner. Anybody have any recommendations for the week?
I really have to say, I highly recommend watching the last season of South Park.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
an amazing season. The whole season. It's only 10 episodes. It doesn't take long to binge
So
watch it.
South Park's over?
No, I'm just saying this.
The
last
latest season.
Oh,
This is
Most
okay.
recent.
the most recent season.
I got worried.
It is the best season in years. It's really, really good.
I haven't watched South Park in a million
Me
years.
too.
promise you,
Since
it's
Scott Baio
worth,
gave you pink eye?
it's worth watching.
Yeah.
This season is amazing. The way they
Cool.
constructed the whole season, it's really well done.
Cool.
Is it like, are they doing more of the serial thing where
No,
everything ties together?
It was very episodic. Each episode is standalone.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the whole season, all of the individual episodes were used in the final season, the final episode.
Yeah.
Clip show. Huh?
It was really cool.
Cool. Well, that's interesting. I would never, if you hadn't said that, it would never have even occurred to me to watch a
It's
modern
on-
day
if-
South
I don't
Park.
know if you've got Hulu,
It's
but
the same way
on
that I don't
Hulu.
watch modern day Simpsons. It's not, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's
I
fine.
haven't watched a Simpsons episode in 15
I
years.
keep hearing it's still fine,
It's
but
fine. I watch it. I still watch Simpsons.
but it's like,
Like every week you watch it?
I watch it every week.
yeah, cool. There you go.
You might be the only person I know who's
I-
still actively
I-
watching The Simpsons.
I don't doubt that.
It's still one of Fox's highest rated shows, so apparently.
It-
I mean,
going.
great. That's
It's
I'm not
it's-
bagging on it.
it's
I'm just
not-
saying I don't watch it anymore.
it's not as good as it has been, but it's still
hard
better
to-
than a lot of stuff
Yeah.
on television.
Exactly.
I was telling Stan last night when we were at the 80s retro, not last night, sorry, back in January.
Star
Go
Day.
Rams.
When we were at the 80s concert, I can't hear I Want Candy without thinking of the Simpsons episode where they have the variety show.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And
Where they recast Lisa.
yeah, and Smithers sings Whip It.
Yeah,
Licorice
yeah.
Whip.
I always think about that. It's great.
Like, you can't hear the real song now
Yeah.
without thinking
I
of the
want
Simpsons.
candy. What about the people in Africa?
Yeah.
I want
Marge is
candy.
trying to tell them they shouldn't be eating so much candy. Anyway, great recommendation, Sean. I would not have thought of that.
Let's see. What do I have? Recommendations. What am I reading right now? I am painfully slogging through, and not because it's not good. I'm Darkest Hour, which is fantastic. I only read it when I take baths.
I was going to say something else.
Oh, about about like Winston Churchill.
Yeah.
That's the World War II book,
Yep.
right?
It's
So
about
you
Winston.
sit and relax in the tub
And read about World War II.
World
Hey,
War
that's
II.
what Winston
That's what
Churchill
Churchill
did.
did. He was a big tub guy, and he would
Yeah.
dictate. And
Yeah, didn't you see the movie, Sean?
And that's
I was
what
in the tub all the time.
Yeah.
and that's when Aaron walks in on him jerking off.
Yeah,
and-
it's all full circle moment.
No, I do full circles when I jerk off.
Winston
So.
Churchill.
Winston Churchill was famous for like porpoising around in a tub, and he would like splash water out and make like secretaries wait outside the door while he would.
Did
like,
you see Darkest Hour?
I haven't.
I did not.
I haven't even seen
There's
it.
a scene in the movie where he does that exact thing.
Oh, does he?
Yeah,
I gotta
He
see.
hires
They
a,
do it in The Crown too. I mean, I think it's a known thing.
he
about
hires a new. There's like a new girl who's been hired to be one of his new secretaries, and he's in the bath, and she has to sit outside and like read his correspondence
Yeah,
to him.
I
and
like
shit.
it. I like that power.
It's one of the few. It's one of the few moments in that movie I enjoyed because it was the only moment of like
Levity.
lightheartedness or like actual character development. Because the rest of it is just Winston Churchill being right all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and
He was not really known for being right, so it's just kind of interesting.
in that because it's specifically just about that Dunkirk rescue.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's funny that those movies came out in the same year because they're about the exact same incident,
Same
just told
period
from
of time,
different. You know, Dunkirk's told about from the fighter's perspective, and Darkest Hour is all about what Churchill was doing back at home.
And
Anyway.
yeah. So that I like that.
You're
So-
reading the book
so-
that movie was based on.
Yeah, and I haven't seen the movie, so I'm saving that for when I finish it. But
You're not. It's not. You can skip it.
yeah, it was an Academy Award winning.
It was, and he was fine, but you know
Yeah.
that wasn't a makeup award.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. No, I could see that. And the other thing I'm into is I'm kind of getting back into science and like watching YouTube videos on science and physics and stuff like that. So I've been sort of through like my kids have been watching stuff, so I've been kind of like, you know, they're using my account, so all these videos are on my feed, and I started watching them, and now I'm like, holy shit. I think about science the way I think about it when I went to college, which now is a zillion years ago, and I've like, oh, there's a lot of things have changed since then, and like just, you know, and there's a lot of YouTube videos that really explain like
Yeah.
crazy physics concepts and stuff like that. So, and
For kids, like
yeah, it's
educational
sometimes
type
it's
videos.
for kids, but it's more like just sort of neutral for
Anybody.
anybody
Yeah.
could use it. And
Sure.
Anybody who's interested.
and there's an experiment video that I watched, and it's the experiment that took place in the 90s. It's called the quantum eraser experiment, and I would say people look it up, and it basically will call into question your whole sort of appreciation of reality as having like a subjective. It basically calls into question like reality as being reality has
thing.
it has a subjective layer. So it's quite interesting. Where
What is it called?
the quantum eraser experiment.
Quantum eraser.
Basically, it in the experiment, the fact that you know something ends up changing the experimental results. So basically, the only thing that's different is the fact that a person observes like the results, change the results retroactively. So you basically it undoes the whole world of causality. So it's a pretty fascinating, mind bending experiment, and I think it'll sort of prompt a lot of cool questions if you watch that. So
Okay.
Yeah.
That's homework for everyone before
Yeah.
next time we get
right.
together.
Yeah.
Watch that video. Give us something to talk about. when
I'm
we're
just going to
watching.
watch more Quantum Leap episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always a good
Let's
option.
do that.
it's very similar to
Let's
Quantum
watch
Leap.
that episode.
Sean, let's
where-
do a Quantum Leap podcast.
all right, I'm on board.
Let's piggyback it.
I don't have to watch those episodes. I know those episodes.
Join us next time for Leaped.
Do you guys watch?
The
Do you guys?
unnecessary.
Does anybody watch Doctor Who? Is anybody watching the new Doctor Who?
No.
No.
This is kind of this is off topic, but it's recommendation corner, so who cares? They did an episode where they went back and met Rosa Parks this season.
Cool.
And it was such a Quantum Leap episode. It was, the whole time I was watching it, I'm like, feels like Doctor Who just decided they wanted to do a Quantum Leap episode.
It's a good
'Cause
decision.
It was great episode, but it was so reminded me of
Yeah.
Quantum Leap. You know, like it had a little message about racial tolerance
Sure.
and like you know
who's in
like
the Quantum
exactly the kind of episode where like Sam would leap back into
Yeah.
the body of an old black man in
Yeah.
Mississippi and like
Yeah.
had to learn that racism was bad.
That definitely happened.
He leapt back into the
He had to
body
win
of the
a
bus
pool
driver.
game.
Yeah, he had to win a pool
That
game.
takes place in Chicago.
The pool game.
There's the one where he leaps into the old man. It's like Driving Miss Daisy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Where he leaps into the old black man who.
I only remember that because it's in the it's in the opening credits.
We watched one yesterday with our 6-year-old, and
He loves it.
And he loves it.
What episode?
Which one did you watch?
The one where
watched-
he plays. Oh, go ahead. Never. He. Well, we watched the one where he goes into an actor who is.
Don
The
Quixote?
man from the-
Yep, Don Quixote.
Where he
from
plays
La
where he
Mancha.
plays.
That one's in the opening credit sequence too.
and he
But
meets.
that one was funny because it was a lot more about a love story.
That one's
it was
got,
I thought it was going to be more like it's a play we're putting on, and then it's like a lot. He's like hot for his piano teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that one's about. I knew her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
And it's all about him.
But it-
Ooh, I get to
but
bang
it-
the hot piano teacher I had
Yeah.
a thing for when I was 12.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
he
kinda
knew her
cool.
in his own
Yes.
previous
Yeah.
earlier.
He had
life.
a puppy love crush on her.
I
and,
see.
And
But she is the person that he leaps into. They are a couple.
yeah.
Oh, so he leaps into his old teacher's boyfriend.
Yes.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Great. Quantum
Yeah.
Leap. I'm all up. I'm all for Quantum Leap.
I would be so down for Leaped.
All right,
Leaped. From the creators of Warp.
Yeah.
We bring
I
you-
gotta go.
Aaron,
Leaped.
recommendations?
I gotta leave again.
Okay. Jake,
I'm here on borrowed time.
Yeah.
any
No,
recommendations for the
nothing
week?
in particular.
I have two real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
And then we can wrap this up. Isle of Dogs.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
I
it's
want to see. I've just seen that. I want to see
I
that.
see HBO has it now.
It's great. If you're a Wes Anderson guy, and I am, it's you'll love it.
Okay.
It's got all of his usual great stuff in it. It's terrific. Bill Murray's in it. Jeff Goldblum's in it. They're all playing dogs. It's hilarious. It's weird. It's set in Japan in the future, so like half of the dialogue is in Japanese. Like it's just great. It's weird, and
Yeah.
only Wes Anderson would ever make a movie like it. And it's amazing that they give him money to make these bizarre stop motion animated films, but people keep giving him money to do it. And
love
God
it.
bless them because they're terrific.
Yeah. Something different.
Yeah. So Isle of Dogs, highly recommend. 2 thumbs up. And my favorite television show is back on the air. It's called Worst Cooks in America. It's on the Food Channel.
I've been watching that.
You guys watch food? You guys,
Yeah,
anybody
we
watch
watch
Worst
Worst
Cooks in
Cooks.
America?
Yep.
It is great. It is so dumb, but I fucking love
Yeah,
it.
it's a dumb show, but
Like,
it's like
I
where do they
love
find
that-
these people?
I love that blonde lesbian who's the main the main coach, and Tyler Florence is like kind of a douchey bro, and like they're just, it's hilarious, and they find these dumb, idiot, incompetent
Yeah.
people to be in the kitchen.
Is it a competition show?
It's a competition show. So they have like 15 people or 14 people who are terrible, terrible cooks. And they divide them into 2 teams. So Anne Burrell, who's like a famous Food Network personality, she hosts a bunch of
Chef,
this shit.
yeah.
She coaches one of the teams, and the other, Tyler Florence coaches the other one of the teams, and it's against the two of them are competing against each other to see who can improve the bad chefs the most. And then there's a prize at the end for the winner, of course. But it's more about the rivalry between the 2 coaches and who is going to get bragging rights that their person won. But anyway, it's so funny. It's so stupid. I just really enjoy it. Highly recommend The Worst Cooks in America.
All right.
Food Network.
That's awesome.
There you go.
And I think that's it. Jacob, where can people find us on the internet?
www.patreon.com/warped for all our links and juicy content.
Did you want to mention
cat pictures.
Did you want to mention our new Patreon?
Oh, yeah.
Who's our Patreon of the month?
Yeah.
We have John
Yeah.
Lagerholm,
From the great state of
Florida.
All right. Thank you, John. We drink to you.
We drink to you.
We drink to you.
You are a scholar and a gentleman and a man of refined taste.
And you still listen to the show.
Until next week, thank you all for listening. My name is Matt,
I'm Sean.
I'm Jake.
Philippe.
and special guest star Aaron.
Good night.
Nice.
Good night.